When these women enter a stadium, sponsorship deals get rewritten, records get shattered, and the entire conversation shifts. Their influence, global. Their impact, generational. These aren't just athletes playing games. They're architects building empires, one victory at a time. From the woman who made mental health matter more than medals, to the one who turned college basketball into a personal casino. These are the 10 most powerful Black female athletes dominating sports right now. You won't believe who's at number 1, and the reason why might just change how you think about athletic greatness forever. Number 10. Angel Reese. Angel Reese didn't wait for permission. While the NCAA was still figuring out what NIL even meant, she showed up with confidence, a killer instinct, and a business plan that would make most CEOs jealous. Nicknamed Bayou Barbie, she weaponized her personality like a strategic asset. She talks trash with designer bags and frame, dominates the paint with manicured nails, and posts her stats like they're quarterly earnings reports. By the time she declared for the WNBA draft, she'd already banked over $1.7 million. Coach, Amazon, Mercedes-Benz, Reebok, all lined up. And here's what matters. She didn't wait for the professional leagues to validate her worth. She created her own market, her own value, her own rules. Angel isn't just riding the NIL wave. She is the wave. She proved you don't need a championship ring to build a championship brand. And in doing that, she rewrote the entire blueprint for how young athletes monetize their talent. Number 9. Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka didn't protest, didn't tweet a manifesto, didn't hold a press conference about press conferences. She just didn't show up. At the 2021 French Open, she chose silence over spectacle, mental health over media obligations. The tennis establishment responded with fines, threats, and lectures about professionalism. Critics called her entitled. Pundits acted like she'd committed a crime against the sport. But Naomi didn't flinch. She withdrew entirely. And in that quiet act of self-preservation, she shattered a myth that had controlled athletes for decades. The myth that visibility equals availability. That access to your mind, your energy, your peace, is somehow owed to strangers with microphones. What came next? Louis Vuitton campaigns. A media company. The honor of lighting the Olympic flame in Tokyo. While critics were still debating whether she was right, Naomi was elevating. Her influence rippled outward. Gymnasts started talking about mental health. Soccer stars started negotiating rest clauses like endorsement deals. Naomi didn't need another trophy. She became a movement. In a Nike tracksuit. Because real power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just walks away. And makes the entire world lean in to understand why. Number 8. Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson doesn't arrive at press conferences. She commands them. Hair that stops conversations. Nails sharp enough to cut through the noise. Voice that doesn't ask for attention because it already owns the room. She doesn't need a track to dominate a moment. Because Sha'Carri understands something most athletes miss. The performance starts long before the gun goes off. Every interview is a statement. Every appearance, a declaration. She doesn't just run fast. She controls narratives. She knows what people say about her. Every word, every criticism, every doubt. And she chooses deliberately what they'll see next. Not a reaction. A rewrite. The mirror here isn't made of glass. It's a lens. A lens she bends. Her words cut through doubt like spikes on synthetic track. And every time she speaks about faith, pressure, identity, power, it's not a detour from athletics. It is the athletics. She's not checking her reflection to see if she measures up. She's directing her legacy in real time, making sure the world sees exactly what she wants them to see. Nothing less. Nothing different. Just Sha'Carri. Unfiltered and unapologetic. Number 7. Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff doesn't just play tennis. She arrives to redefine it. And when she does, it's always under that signature Nike visor. Color coordinated, positioned perfectly. Worn like a crown by someone who never questioned whether she belonged on center court. At just 20 years old, she became the youngest American woman to win the US Open since Serena Williams. But Coco isn't imitating anyone. She's establishing her own authority. That visor isn't blocking sunlight. It's channeling something deeper. Legacy. Confidence. Vision. She lifts it when she's ready to serve, to speak, to silence an entire stadium. And when it stays down, that's focus in fabric form. The visor has become so iconic that fans buy replicas. Commentators reference it like it's part of her forehand. Brands sponsor it like it has its own endorsement deal. Because Coco understands that in the modern era of sports, you're not just competing on the court. You're creating a visual language of leadership, one that says, I'm young, I'm black, I'm here, I'm winning, and I'm not asking for your approval. She's also the highest earning female athlete, bringing in over $34 million in 2024, proving that power on the court translates directly to power in the boardroom. Number 6. Simone Biles. Simone Biles doesn't just defy gravity. She defied the entire industrial complex of elite sports. At the Tokyo Olympics, with billions watching and corporate sponsors holding their breath, Simone did something unthinkable. She pulled out of multiple finals. Not for a torn ligament, for her mind. That moment wasn't weakness. It was an earthquake that shook every foundation sports was built on. She turned her own mental health into a boundary, and in doing so, became more than a gymnast. She became the blueprint for a generation that refuses to destroy themselves for entertainment. Pundits raged. Sponsors panicked. But Simone stood still, unbothered, while the world spun around her in confusion. Her decision didn't end her career. It catapulted it into a different stratosphere. She came back stronger, sharper, more decorated. Now she holds more world championship medals than any gymnast in history, male or female. Sponsors didn't abandon her. They multiplied, with partnerships including Athleta, Visa, and Powerade. That Tokyo vault, the one she stepped away from, became the symbol. The moment where a black woman looked at the system and said, "Not today." And in that refusal, redefined strength for everyone watching. Power isn't just in the trick. It's in the choice to protect yourself when the world demands you break. Number 5. Allyson Felix. Allyson Felix has more Olympic medals than any track and field athlete in US history, male or female. But her most powerful move didn't happen on a track. It happened in a boardroom, when Nike tried to cut her pay after she became pregnant. Most athletes would have stayed quiet, signed the deal, swallowed the disrespect. Allyson said no. Publicly, loudly, effectively. She didn't just walk away from Nike. She built her own company, Saish, creating athletic footwear designed by women, for women. Her memoir isn't a celebration of victories. It's a manifesto about motherhood in sports, about pay equity, about standing firm when corporations try to diminish your value because you chose to have a child. The book lands harder than any finish line lean ever could. Allyson redefined what it means to be elite while being a mother, an entrepreneur, an activist in spikes. She proved you can win gold medals and business negotiations. You can break records and break systems. This isn't a career wind down. It's a masterclass in leveraging athletic excellence into generational change. She didn't just run for medals. She ran for every woman who was told she had to choose between her career and her family. Number 4. A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson didn't ask for access. She built the infrastructure. Her South Carolina training facility isn't just a gym. It's a cathedral of ambition. Pro-level rehab equipment, custom training zones, walls lined with quotes from legendary black women right beside her own achievements. This isn't where she works out. It's where legacies get engineered. High school players call it sacred ground. College athletes make pilgrimages just to feel the energy. And when A'ja walks through those doors, she's not warming up, she's ruling. Every rep is a statement. Every session is a sermon. She didn't wait for someone to give her a platform. She poured concrete, installed equipment, and opened the doors herself. Her message is unmistakable. Legacy isn't just in your stats. It's in the spaces you create for the ones coming after you. While other players are still asking for better facilities, A'ja's handing out keys to the next generation. She's not just dominating the WNBA, she's building the blueprint for how athletes should invest in their communities, their sport, and their future. Number 3. Venus Williams. Venus Williams doesn't yell for attention. She sketches it, fits it, and commands it into existence. Backstage at her own runway show during New York Fashion Week, surrounded by athletes turned models and racks of bold activewear. Venus isn't chasing relevance. She's tailoring it to fit her vision exactly. This isn't a celebrity side project. It's a business strategy stitched into every seam. While most retired athletes post throwback photos, Venus is pinning fabrics and perfecting cuts. She didn't just show up to Fashion Week. She redefined who gets to belong there. The real power move? She designed everything herself. This collection doesn't just look good. It moves like she does. Intentional, clean, unapologetically strong. Behind that calm voice and controlled aesthetic is a woman embedding her legacy into every piece. Most designers showcase clothes. Venus showcases motion, possibility, power. She proved that athletic excellence and creative vision aren't separate careers. They're different expressions of the same discipline. And when you've spent decades dominating tennis, turning fashion into your second empire isn't a pivot. It's an expansion. Number 2. Serena Williams. When most athletes retire, they vanish. When Serena Williams stepped away from tennis, she went supernova. She didn't just leave the sport, she detonated the entire concept of what an athlete does after competition. This wasn't a farewell tour. It was a strategic withdrawal from an arena she'd already conquered to fully dominate one she'd been building in the background. Finance, tech, fashion, motherhood. Serena's retirement announcement wasn't posted on social media like everyone else. It was published in Vogue, draped in Balenciaga, written like a CEO's letter to shareholders. She called it evolution, not retirement. And it was. Serena Ventures has backed over 60 companies, with a portfolio so powerful it moves markets. She's in boardrooms now where billion-dollar decisions get made. And those rooms don't start until she arrives. The most powerful thing Serena owns isn't her 23 Grand Slam titles. It's her ability to walk away from total domination and still dominate. Her exit wasn't an ending. It was an expansion. She's making more money not playing tennis than most athletes make at the peak of their careers. She didn't retire. She redistributed her power into investments, companies, and opportunities for women of color. That's not a legacy. That's an ecosystem. Number 1. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone doesn't just race. She re-engineers the limits of human speed. At the 2024 Olympics, she shattered her own world record in the 400-meter hurdles, clocking 50.37 seconds. But here's what separates Sydney from everyone else. She's not satisfied. At the 2025 World Championships, she won her first global title in the flat 400 meters with a championship record time of 47.78 seconds, the second fastest time in history. Most athletes chase one discipline their entire lives. Sydney masters one, breaks the world record 6 times, then casually decides to become historically great at another event. That's not ambition. That's someone operating on a different plane of athletic possibility. While other runners celebrate personal bests, Sydney redefines what the human body can achieve under pressure. The dominance isn't loud. It's in the calculated switch from 15 to 14 steps between hurdles. It's in the faith-driven preparation. It's in the relentless pursuit of perfection when you're already the best. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Hit that button. Drop a comment on who you think should be number 1. And remember, greatness isn't just about winning. It's about changing the game so completely that everyone after you has to play by your rules.